No.
All right.
I mean, we can if you want, but I think giving all those answers can.
Yeah, no, we're not. I don't think we need to worry about it too much.
All right, we're back.
Oh God, my mouth is full.
Do we have?
That's what she said.
Drink.
Right. Where's the link? Okay, I will go grab a link. Everybody can just deal with us rambling for a moment. We can cut this out later because we'll just piece the 2 episodes together.
The 2 of you that are currently watching right now, yeah, it's a whole thing.
Oh, it's a fucking.
We have been having issues all night with various issues with like the internets on multiple ends, and so par for the course for this evening. But,
all right, cool. Deleting 1, adding the next link.
Deleted.
I'm just gonna sit here and watch you guys work.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, that's. I just put the link up right now.
Okay. All right.
We're getting.
Is there anything I need to do, or just sit here and don't touch anything?
Don't mention the White Claw.
Oh, they can't see me? I feel like it's a trap.
Yeah, they can't see you yet. They can see me like munching away on like fucking tater tots.
Tater tots.
Those are the best.
Best Girls was just like, where is it at? Now I gotta go to page, make a post.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh, I knew it was a trap.
It's totally a trap. Welcome to the show. Like we have been haunted by tech issues for like the last 2 weeks.
You just Admiral Akbar the fuck out of me.
Oh yeah. Having fun there, baby ninja?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we have to, we can bounce and go super old school.
What's that? Phone?
Where we kick them out of the chat. We just do the 3 of us up on the screen.
Yeah, we could do that if we need to, but I doubt it.
All right, good. Okay, cool. Has the new link been bounced out a couple places? I got it on my stuff.
Yeah, I got mine out. So
right, cool.
Most people will see it if they're following. So hi everyone. If you're following our YouTube channel, you will get updates when we're back live, so we don't have to like freak anybody out or lose our goddamn minds trying to get links when this sort of stuff happens, because this is what happens with a live internet show, is all kinds of fun stuff. Yep. So I think we're all back together again, and we were in the middle of, I think I had actually said my thing, so I think Helga, it's your turn.
Man, right under the bus. I got to be entertaining now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Swallow, then entertain.
Hey, there's nothing in my mouth right now. All right. So, welcome to probably one of the sassier episodes you guys are going to see at this place and time. So, the question was, what is your favorite drinking game / after hours foolishness at events? So, I absolutely love watching other people play 3-man. I play 3-man terribly. I'm a lightweight. So, I'm going to go with after hours foolishness. And the shout out is going to go to His Majesty of the Outlands, Bela, because after hours foolishness is whatever he is talking somebody into doing, including belts and boots, or chariot races, or any reason we are all running to the Eric to see whatever fuckery is going on. Because I can guarantee you that man can talk anybody into doing anything. And it's hilarious.
I'd like to try.
Can confirm.
Yeah, for reals. And so I got to see my first belts and boots as queen at Great Western. That was delightful.
Wait, does that count as when I was queen?
Shit, it does. So
we just got
behind the scenes.
We got a behind the scenes question.
Behind the scenes question. Valora, what does Oz call his big belly?
I don't think I want to answer this because that's what he said when I asked his question yesterday.
Oh, there we go. Oz, I believe you were just told to fuck off.
Narky. Whoops.
Ooh. Okay. So the next question. Are we ready for this?
Yes. This is from Dartmus Ray. What moment solidified your desire to become a peer?
I don't know if I ever had like an ooh-ah moment of, oh, I want to be a peer. Like I don't think I ever had that. In fact, like when I got offered knighthood, I had given up on it. Like I didn't think it was ever going to happen. I think for me, it's mainly being around great peers made me want to, if I ever became a peer, to be a great one. I was really lucky when I got in the SCA that I got in with some amazing groups of people who are just fabulous. And like, when you get to look at Casca every day and you can go, I want to do that. I want to be that. That like, but it wasn't a specific moment. It was just being around those people that it was like, if I ever get that, that's the person I want to be.
Nice.
So, Helga?
So my answer to that, sorry, I was sending somebody the link real quick because they were like, where is it? So my answer to this is what solidified the moment I my desire to become a peer. And mine is less awesome than Valora's. Is I actually had a super shitty interaction with a peer, and that solidified my want to be a peer so I could be way better than them.
Always worthy. Spite sprinkles. That's a spite sprinkle.
Okay, everybody drink on that one, and then I'll explain it. So, I've had some bad interactions in the SCA. Any group does. Like any group is always going to have people that don't get along, or you're going to have bad interactions, and it's what you make out of those bad interactions that actually kind of defines you as a human. Because when it's easy, you don't have to work at it. When it's hard, then you figure out who and what you're made of. And so I had a really bad interaction with a knight who said women didn't belong on the field. He is a very large outlier. Yeah, and I will tell you, I've only run into one in my entire career, and I've traveled all over the SCA. And this one person at, like, I think I was 17, told me this, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch, you are so wrong. And I'm going to be a knight, and I'm going to do the thing, and I'm going to do it way cooler than you can. Mm-hmm. So that was probably the moment that solidified me wanting to be a peer, and then it was just reinforced by awesome interaction after awesome interaction and meeting some of my heroes and getting to travel all over the known world. But occasionally I remember that I am a peer in my own right because somebody pissed me off. And I don't want to be that person for somebody else. So anytime I go to do things, I try to remember, am I about to be that guy?
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Never be that guy.
Be that guy.
Be that guy, not that guy. Exactly. Yeah, wise words that were once said to me. I think for me, I think this goes back to my very earliest days in the SCA, like probably even my first event. Again, I was cruising around, checking stuff out, and my friend who had been in for like all of probably a year longer than I had. So of course was the old pro at everything, was showing me around and introducing me to, not really introducing me to people, but like pointing people out and being like, that person over there, that's blah. And like, they're cool. Or this person over here is this. And at some point, I have this vague recollection of some beautiful costumed woman gliding past in this beautiful, glorious, 16th century gown. And I was like, ooh, shiny. And and my friend said, oh, that's Mistress so-and-so, and she's a laurel. And I was like, what's that mean? And then I learned, the laurels were people who are awarded admittance into this order for excellence in the arts and sciences. And I was like, I want to be excellent at art. That's what I want to do. And as soon as I realized that there was a major award that I could get for costuming, I was on that like super hard. At this point, I'd already started making my own costumes because my mother had quit making them for me about like a year beforehand because she couldn't keep up with the demand. And so she's like, you want all this shit? You're going to have to learn how to make it yourself. So I just dove in, and but it took a long time. I went from, so that was age 15, this first event, and I wasn't laureled until I was 32. So it was like 17 years. I think it was a 17-year span of time that encompassed everything from me getting like bit by the bug to being kind of on the path, getting apprenticed, getting known, and building kind of my SCA resume, I guess, in a way, like my renown for what I'm doing. That took a while. Oftentimes when you have like a lot of talent, you see people that get elevated really quickly and you think to yourself, well, that person just had a lot of talent. Like, what is it about them and not me? And you start, it's that whole comparison is the thief of joy kind of a thing. And I struggled with that for several years in the run up to being offered. But it was finally at the very end of it, the very tail end of all of it was about a year before I was offered. I was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to be the most fabulous person, fabulously dressed, most immaculately, like period, everything from head to toe. And the laurels can suck it. I don't care if I ever get to be one of those motherfuckers. And then literally, I was like 6 months to a year later, they're all like, hey, guess what? You want to be one of us? And I was all, yeah, actually, I still
I just said fuck you so hard.
I know. I was like, well, finally you understood the amazingness that is there. But then I learned actually once on the other side of that fence, that it was less the talent, less the ability, and more the needed the face time, needed to be teaching, needed to be building my renown, needed to be building my kind of just creating who I am so people know me, so they don't go, Tulia who? And I hope to God nobody ever says Tulia who, because for God's sake, you should know who the fuck I am by now. I mean, maybe not in a good way. I hope it is, but I don't know. I'm out there. I am out there, and I am in people's living rooms right now. So don't ever say, don't
like
ever say.
legitimately you are.
I'm apparently also in somebody's bathroom right now. That's what Baby Ninja just said. So cool. Good. Go me. I hope it's true.
I'm actually going to drink over that.
I think kind of, yeah.
Also, holy shit, did I just mix that really strong?
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking vodka and ginger beer with a little bit of lime.
Very nice. All right, so that answers that question.
Okay, so
number 4.
I think it's your turn for a question. Oh no, it's actually my turn. Oh, my bad. Sorry, that was my bad. So the next question comes from Lash. How do you deal with peer fear from others directed at you?
So like on the other side of the peer fear, like you're the peer that they're afraid of? Is that what?
So I believe Lash and I had a really long conversation about this, like right before he was right before he became a member of the chivalry, right after actually. So he's talking about like somebody is expressing peer fear at you, but you haven't been the cause. So like just because you're up here, there's no fear being expressed at you about interactions or like basically it's regalia freight.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So I never realized that I could cause this in people, because to me, I'm not scary. So I am an SCA medium to small, and I didn't think that I was scary, and then I have seen pictures of me standing around the Eric, and oh my god, do I have resting bitch face? So bad. I was like, why was I mad that day? And I'm not, it's not at all.
Yeah.
And I've had people say, well, how do you deal with this? I'm like, that doesn't happen to me. Oh my god, am I that person that's like, I don't know, I mean. So I didn't know that it was a thing, and I didn't know that I could cause it. So I try to watch for it, and if there's the I think I want to come talk to you. But if I'm being 100% honest, I have the most amazing friend group on the planet. I'm sure you all know great people, but my friend group is the best and they're amazing. And they help me with this so much because I am at my core a very, very, very shy person. If you don't believe that, that's because I force Sir Valora to not be shy.
Oh, I have notes on this. I would like to note that Valora and I thought we kind of disliked each other for years because both of us are shy about a bunch of shit.
It's
and
really
so
kind of...
we would just be like, hi, I think you're kind of cool. And then we would disappear. I believe it took Nikita being like, motherfuckers, you guys like each other. Like, we now all drink together. Come hang with the panda.
You had a similar story. You were too afraid to talk to me until I came up to you and was like, I love watching you fight. It's so much fun. And you're like,
I literally, she came over and did that to me, and I was just like, Julia just talked to me? Oh my God. I don't know what to do right now.
I know, she did that. Actually, she's like, what? Me? I'm like, yeah, you kid. You're cute.
So, my friend group is absolutely awesome. And they like, they're really outgoing. And like, we have like, I can't tell you how many times like I've been standing around and Sir Gabe or His Highness Zipster has been like, hey, who are you? Why don't you come over here and talk to us? You're sitting alone. Come and do this. And they're like, oh, we're going to go over here and talk to this person because they're being by themselves. So my friend group has actually been a really good like buffer for me in that I can kind of go with them and then I can be personable to people. But it's watching them and watching how they interact with people that has helped me kind of watch for it. But personally, I just try not to be, rephrase, unless I'm in my group of friends where is my safe zone, I try not to be an asshole.
Mm.
So,
tone of silence is a real thing.
I can't help it when I'm around the Eric.
Friends, yeah, there's some shit that just like it's delightful.
No, your safe space.
Yeah.
I can't help it when I'm around the Eric. I don't know what it is about it, but especially tournaments, like my face just goes.
Oh yeah, I had that problem.
Insta focus.
Oh yeah.
And like even if I'm sewing, I will get so hyper focused on what I'm doing that my face like just looks like I'm so angry at what I'm sewing. So I try to combat it by just like taking a minute to look around and go, okay, what's going on? Who's out there? And just if I see those things that I know that my friends look for, I try to be like, hey, I'm not the best at it, but I'm trying.
Let me be socially awkward at you. I promise I'm nice.
Yeah, like it's like, hi, I don't know what else to say now. You go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sarah? Or damn it.
You're gonna just make me drinking this, aren't you?
I'm gonna drink again because I was already drinking.
Yeah, no, there you go. You got the so for me, I don't have, I like to say I actually don't have resting bitchy face. I have rested constipated face. Like I've caught photos of me where I'm just really staring intently at something during court or like while people are fighting and I'm watching the fighting and I'm sitting there and I'm just like this is my face. And it doesn't look bitchy. It literally just looks like I'm trying to push one out really hard and it's not working. So
helping that
I broke out
in the toilet.
Yeah, toilet humor is always fun.
You win. I give up. You win right there.
Well, I've caught glimpses of myself when I sew. It's funny you mentioned that, Valora, because I had the same thing. I caught, like I'll catch a glimpse of myself in a mirror or something while I'm sewing. Same face, just it's not a good look. And so I know that that's kind of my default, like resting face. And so I've practiced smiling a lot. And I do this big smile and I stand there with a big goddamn smile on my face all the time because it looks a lot better than, but that doesn't really answer the peer fear question. Peer fear is interesting. I don't think I ever had it. I didn't ever really experience it. I had a different kind of peer issue, which was more like resentment. It was more related to the spite sprinkles. Everybody drink. I said the words, was kind of more related to that issue than it was like, oh God, I'm too terrified to approach this person. I am not somebody who's really afraid to talk to people. I don't care who you are. I'll march right up to Barack Obama and just be like, dude, I love you. And, you know, he'll probably be like, who's that? But doesn't matter. It's pure and it's real. It's from my heart. But yeah, so I don't know how to really put myself in somebody's shoes that has that feeling. But I do get people who have actually approached me and said that either they're intimidated by me, which I find really, really funny because I'm like the least intimidating person I can imagine. I'm short. Like you guys, you know, Araya.
You are short and full of anger.
Everyone drink because I said the A word. God damn it. Anyway, Helga, who likes to call herself short, is still like a good like 5 to 6 inches taller than I am. So I am tiny. I am like I'm what's called fun size, pocket size, travel size.
I feel bad for saying I'm in a CA small now.
What are you, 5'5"?
Like
God, you guys are all like giant. I'm literally
like,
so our current king Uther is like 6'6". He has to get on his knees to talk to me because he'll be bending over like to talk to me.
Freezing.
Get on his knees to talk to me. Like, why would he be on his knees? Come on. I don't know. I don't think that counts as phrasing.
Okay, I'm just watching. But I'm watching this conversation
on his knees. He and I are basically eye to eye. So that's how it is. When he kneels, he and I can see eye to eye. That's how tall he is and how short I am. But yeah, I've had people actually say that they are intimidated by me or just, you know, intimidated by some other peer. And I think my only thing to say, like when Helga said she was too freaked out to talk to me for a long time, which I thought was just ridiculous because she was always just super sweet, like, you know, cute little kid running around. That's what I see Araya or Helga. She's like this little like muppety monster that just kind of all over the place. And to hear that she was terrified of talking to me, I was like, what? But yeah, I try to be open and approachable, and, you know, failing that, I don't know what else I can do, and I don't know what else I can help, you know, do for someone else who's really struggling with like approachability, because God damn, I'm here to talk to. Come and talk to me. You know, hang out, just say stuff. I talk about anything. I'm talking right now. I'm saying too many words. I'm going to shut up now. Hey, Helga, you want to answer this question?
I do. So how do I deal with peer fear that's directed at me? I actually had to think about this one a little bit because I didn't really experience peer fear, but I experienced person fear a lot. I'm socially awkward. I'm shy. I'm extra socially awkward. Like, I realize that I'm just kind of an awkward human being. But one of the things that happens is I didn't experience a lot of a very expressed fear towards me when I was a pelican. It's very easy as a pelican to like blend in. You can like tuck in your medallion, or you wear a really small medallion, or you go from there, or people just don't notice it. But I started experiencing it a lot after I got knighted. And so one of the things that I try to do is remain approachable. And so if somebody expresses like, hey, I'm having a really hard time like talking to this person or anything else like that, like sitting down and making myself, and this is going to sound really weird, but making myself as small as them. And so if they are sitting down and I can tell they're nervous, I will also sit down. If they are on a bale of hay, I will sit on the ground. You know, and so I will actually make myself a smaller human being. I'm already not a very large human, but apparently I carry a lot of gravitas and presence.
I got told one time that I was a lot taller online.
Yeah, so I'll get that. But in the visible peerages make that happen too. Is you get bigger in somebody's mind, and so what I'll do is I'll actually physically turn myself smaller, and so I will actually sit down, look up at them, have a conversation, because it's in that how the human brain is programmed. Up means predator, down means not as much of a threat. And so that's one of the things that I actually try to do is if I realize that somebody's having a hard time conversing with me, I don't stand over them. I don't stand up straight. I will sit down. I will relax my posture, and I will try to present myself as somebody that they can try, like, even if they're stumbling talking to me, is I will try to soften how I am so they can continue to try to do that with me and not feel like I am judging them. And I will reinforce that of like, cool, like, let's keep talking, like, let's keep doing this thing. Like, really, I'm just a normal person. And that seems to help because some people are big, overbearing assholes. And so I want to reverse that and give them space to try to have a conversation with me. And Valora, I saw your hand go up.
So not a full-on soapbox, but I know that with all of the online interviews, like a lot of peers have come out and said, like, you know, come talk to me. I want you to come talk to me. I'm here to answer your questions. Like, I would just like to reiterate that. Now, granted, if I'm in between rounds in tournaments, I might tell you not a good time. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean I don't want to have that conversation with you eventually. It's just at that time, it's not good for me.
Yeah.
So, like, but all the peers that I've seen on all of these interviews are like, yes, come talk to me. I don't want you to fear me. I'm a nerd. I am a peer of nerds right now.
Like, that is actually true.
Like, literally, that's,
yeah.
You want to know what I'm really good at? Or kind of good? Okay, I can't say that I'm really good. I got my ass handed to me last night. Like, I want to note that I got tent pegged like 7 ways from Sunday on video last night, fighting. And so that it's all peers are just like peers of nerddom, and we want to nerd at you. And so there's a lot of peers that you'll find. I have found more peers than less peers that have the idea that they are not worthy to share their knowledge.
Yeah, I've heard those words come out of your mouth more than once, Helga.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time, where I will sit down and shut up because I don't think that what I have to say to you is of value. And so you'll actually find that a lot of peers, until you actually kind of like poke them or approach them about like, hey, I kind of want to know what's going on in your head. They'll just kind of avoid it because we have been taught through a Western, and not like West Kingdom, but a very socially mundane Western society, that humility equals shutting the fuck up. And humility equals downplaying what you can do. And humility equals degrading yourself to the point of stupidity. And many, many peers actually, this is a total fucking soapbox, everybody drink. That many of us have actually learned to be really mean in ourselves, the higher ranks that we get, to be super brutal with ourselves because that's how we feel we're approachable. And so we're not worthy to have students, to talk to people, to share our knowledge, anything else like that, unless we're asked to, because otherwise we're being assholes. And so if you just remember that about it, like, you can get Valora to geek on silk banners until the cows come home. And she is brilliant about it. She also can sew, she can fucking paint, she can do all these other things, and you don't know unless you ask her. Same with Tulia. Like, you can ask her about 7 different types of costuming, and she can tell you how to do the stitches. She can teach you how to do the stitches. She can talk about the virtues. She can talk about comportment in the lists. She is one of the people that if I feel that I have comported myself poorly in a list, I go to say, hey, I need your outside eyes. You aren't a fighter, but you are somebody that I very much so treasure in how you view the world. And you'll find that a lot of peers have many more talents than you think they do. And a lot of non-peers are the same way, because the non-peers are taught the same thing. They're taught, shut up so you can be humble and seen as humble. Own your shit, but also ask. And you will be pleasantly shocked at the base of knowledge that's out there in the SCA.
I just started tearing up right now. That was a good soapbox.
So there's an added. It's the humility, but at the same time, as a peer, I got to walk. Yeah, as a peer, drink. I'm calling.
Cheers, bitches.
So as a peer, I got to walk my path and figure out what my peerage is and figure out what the SCA means to me and what I want to do in the SCA. That sometimes, like, peers don't want to cloud up and rain over Susie new person going, oh my God, I love this so much. This is it. And this is how I walked it. And then have this new person go like,
there's also like the drinking from the fire hose kind of an interaction that you can get.
Oh yeah.
You can just fucking all up in a person's face and they're like, okay, bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think this is okay. You drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
So,
there's always going to be those. That's in like every group. There's a lot of people that you'll find that I love approaching the quiet peers. I really, really love approaching the quiet peers because you'll find that their depth of knowledge is insane. Like, they're absolutely insane. If you're actually the loudmouth dude out there, I'm not really likely to come talk to you. You've got enough people that are going to totally like hang on you and be like, "Oh, this is the thing. The Messiah has cometh." But
I mean, like, I think of too, like, you know, some of the quietest peers that I know. We're just talking, like, I'm going to throw out some West Kingdom names, and if you're not in the West or familiar with Western peers, you may like be like, who? But like Master Ivar is one of these guys that he is like just kind of the quintessential still waters run deep sort of a thing. You tap into that, you sit down with him. He's told me before that he doesn't take apprentices because he feels like he's better when he's just one-on-one conversing, kind of, you know, doesn't like to teach classes because he feels like the personal interaction is what actually he, you know, brings forth all of his educational urges. And so you've got to really seek him out. And when you do, it's magical just to sit with him, and he'll pour you cocktails all day, and you'll talk about everything under the sun with this guy. And there's just no stopping any of it. He is so well versed in so many different arts and sciences, knowledge, history, just political science, politics, everything. Like, but you just have to find him and sit with him. And he's not somebody that's going to be standing in the forefront and being like, "I'm a peer." Most people may not even realize, you know, except for they see this very tall man in 14th century garb following around Duchess Juana. And then they're like, "Oh, I wonder who that is. Oh, that's her husband." Okay.
He's a delight.
And he's delightful.
I absolutely enjoy the ever-loving hell out of him.
But just kind of a hidden gem as well. Like, and I know that in every kingdom, there's probably 40 of these types of people, maybe not even peers, but people that just click on a one-to-one basis, that aren't about the flashy, let me show everybody how much I know, which I am like. That's my MO. But, you know, that's not everybody's. And those people, that's where you have to kind of like screw up the knowledge, or, you know, screw up the courage to approach somebody, especially if you're shy and it's hard to like walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, let's talk."
I'll volunteer that if you're too shy to go introduce yourself to somebody, come find me. As a shy person, if you come find me, I will go help you. I will go help you introduce and like set you on a path. Like, if you can't go talk to that person by yourself, I understand that. I really sympathize with that entire thing. I will help go in. I will give you my time so you can meet the person that you want to meet. Like, and that's
absolutely. And if I don't know that person personally, I bet I know somebody who does, and I can facilitate that that introduction that way. It's literally like, you know, 6 degrees of Tulia Alori. I can get you there in 2.
And it goes the other way of if you talk to that person.
The lake has appeared.
Uh-oh. I didn't think we were being that serious.
Oh, no, but this is possibly the most serious question she has ever asked on the show. I need everybody to understand this, and everybody in the chat to please also play along and or respond, because this is serious. Kool-Aid. Do you say the flavor or the color?
Color flavor.
Is it purple or is it grape?
Red.
It's color flavor. You go by color. Exactly.
Color.
Red,
Hardcore color.
Blue. Same with Gatorade. That's the same exact thing with Gatorade.
Yes.
I just asked the other day. I asked my boyfriend. I was like, "Hey, Thorfinn, what's your favorite, color of Gatorade?" And he was like, "Blue," I think is what he said, which I think is like tropical, whatever. And yeah.
I do the names on Gatorade because they have several colors that are different flavors.
Oh, really?
No. So I actually have learned the names of the Gatorade. But like Kool-Aid, fucking red.
Red, absolutely.
Gatorade, there's a middle ground. There's the Frost Blue, Frost whatever, because there's like the Frost and those little light, like kind of see-through ones versus straight color ones. And so you just have to know those things, and then you can get the right Gatorade. Yeah. But 100% color, like, who the fuck is going to memorize all those names? Really? I would like to note that Baby is about to throw his headphones behind the scenes. He is just animated as fuck.
He is very passionate about his Gatorade.
I really want to bring Baby Ninja on again as a guest because he's a hoot, and you guys actually he's making snarky comments the entire time.
Oh yeah. Also, I would like it known that pretty much you're just tasting the flavor of dye. Like,
it is delicious.
Yeah. Oh my god, my mom used to make like almost sour Kool-Aid.
Delicious.
All right, so we move on to the next question.
Yes. Okay, so for everybody out there, we are having further technical difficulties. And so the question won't change anymore. That's up on the YouTube. Please hang on. We will make sure that they're posted in the comments as we go along. Because our tech crew is awesome, and we are just figuring out all the problems all at once.
I can't see it anyway, so y'all are in my boat now.
Yep. All right, so next question.
Okay, well, this one is from Thaddeus. What advice might you give to someone seeking peerage when their spouse/partner/SO is not interested in the society? All of us are all like, we don't date outside the fold.
I did.
What are you doing?
I did too. I married outside the fold.
What did you do wrong that they don't like the SCA? What the fuck?
I know, right? Loser.
So I will freely admit that it is difficult when your significant other doesn't want to play. If you're on a peerage path and that is what you know you want, peerage is never the enchuki. I can't stress this enough. Like, you should not just go, I want to be a knight, or I want to be a pelican, or a laurel, or a mod, and that's my goal. Okay, well, that's great. What's your after? But you need to have those conversations with your significant other of just this is my goal. This means I'm not stopping this anytime soon. Are you okay with that? The other thing, like conversations you need to have, if I get offered peerage, do you want to be there? I never thought my parents would want to be at my knighting. They blamed the SCA for me no longer being Mormon. So I never thought that they would want to be there. So I never had those conversations with them because I didn't even think they knew what it meant. But they knew that it was something important to me, and so they wanted to be there to support me. So after I got offered, I was like, oh, hey, I got offered knighthood. And they're like, when is it we want to be there? I was like, I have no idea what to tell you because I didn't know I was going to have to. So have those conversations of, I know that this is a goal. Can you support that? It's going to take a lot of time. Can you support that? And just, do you want to be there? Do you care? Like, do you want to be involved? Do you want to be involved in a ceremony? And just don't be afraid to have those conversations. I'm not saying you got to strong arm your girlfriend into playing SCA if she's like, fuck those weirdos. But just, you don't want to make her feel left out, or him feel left out if it would be something that they would want to support. Now, I'm going to caveat this with my parents showed up at my knighting wearing Canadian tuxedos and buck teeth and shirts.
Oh, but that's so sweet. They still showed up. I think that's lovely.
For real?
For reals. Yep, my entire family showed up, Canadian tuxedos, buck teeth. Well, okay, so this might turn into a soapbox, but it's not because of any like standing. It's just going to take a bit of, my friends once came up to the village that I am from. They dubbed it a village because it's not big enough to be called a town. So they came up, and so it just gone on to where by the end, before I got knighted, it was being called the Northern Barbarian Gnome Village. So my parents, thinking the, Children of the Corn are coming down to my knighting, decided to play it to its fullest. And so they decided that they were going to represent the Northern Barbarian Gnome Village and show up, and straw hats, Canadian tuxedos, which if you don't know what that is, it's all denim.
Yeah, somebody just asked that and I just answered it. I am family is from Canada, so
denim head to toe. Buck teeth inserts, and straw hats because they were my parents from the Northern Barbarian Gnome Village. Trying to explain to my mother, because I'd forgotten this beforehand, of that the big giant man in the shiny hat is going to punch me in the face. Please do not yell at, tackle, and or shoot the big giant man in the shiny hat. Please. So I came out of my nighting, and my mother, who is a 6 foot tall ex-Miss Rodeo, Arizona, is standing there. I didn't hit him. Thanks, Mom! So, like, but have those conversations, because I forgot to have some of those conversations and trying to explain it on the fly of, Mom, don't hit this guy, bye! As I'm trucking up to the front of court. Yeah, have the conversations and make sure that they can be there and be supportive if they want to be.
Yeah. All right, so my take on this is what advice you might give to someone seeking a peerage with their spouse, partners, SO is not interested in the society is, okay, we're just going to roll down a weird path real quick, so everybody hang on for this ride. Buckle in, please. Everybody keep their hands inside the vehicle. Do not stick them up. There's one. So it's kind of like negotiating a BDSM relationship or a poly relationship. I'm going to set my boundaries and my needs and my wants, and then it's a negotiation from there. And that's something that I think should be a very open conversation with your SO of they need to understand how much time you're investing in the SCA, how that's going to affect your relationship, and if your relationship is in a place where it can be supportive of that. And that's a very big thing of open communication and honesty in your needs, wants, and intentions are going to be key in this, because most people, when you're seeking a peerage, that is basically your life. If you're seeking a knighthood, you're going to practices multiple times a week, or you're video analyzing, or you're out on the Pell, or you want to talk about it. And so it's a very large part of your life. And, Laurel is the same thing. Like, you are obsessing on a project. You are dealing with things. As a Pelican, you are Shiv and Mod, basically the same category. As a Pelican, you're obsessing on projects and you're dealing with things inside the SCA and you're dealing with the drama and all that other BS of running events. I say as a Pel.
We have to drink for that?
And so having very, very clear communication about that is going to be key, because you need to understand what you are sacrificing in your relationship and what they're sacrificing in the relationship. And they may come back with caveats of, cool, you're going to be gone all weekend, so for the next 2 days, you don't get a phone. Like, it's about me. And you need to know what is going to take to maintain your relationship and maintain what you're doing in the SCA, because it's kind of like having two relationships at the same time. And so be really, really clear about your wants, needs, and intentions, because if you are not, you will set yourself up and your SO up for failure. End of story.
I'll drink to that.
Oh, and the Lady of the Lake would like to say, Valora, I think I love you. Best story.
So I had two of my most significant relationships as an adult were with people that were not in the SCA and did not understand it, like, at all. Or any of the costuming stuff that I did, any of the reenactment, any of that. My ex-husband was kind of like game to just dress up and like go to a Ren fair, but like still wanted to wear jeans and his sneakers, but he'd put a tunic on at least and would be like, ye olde times, and embarrass the shit out of me. So of course I never brought him to the SCA because that just would have been a complete disaster. But it was always, I wouldn't say fun at Ren fairs, it was always mortifying. But oh, by the way, yes, I was married for a hot second in my mid-20s. That's to a musician, just, it was bad. Oh God, it was bad. I wish him well. He's doing very well. He's very happy. I just discovered recently, information about him, and I wish him well. The other was a couple of years later, I got into a relationship with a guy for a couple of years who thought that anything, putting on a costume, was just, I'm going to use his words, the gayest shit ever. And that should have been my big fucking warning sign.
Yes,
that's
it is.
when you just leave.
Fabulous up in this bitch.
However, and it was like 2005, and I was little miss like, but we're in love, and he'll come around and understand how important it is. No, he didn't. He was a total asshole. He was awful. I do not wish him well. But I spent 2 years with that motherfucker like an idiot. And he, I took him to a couple of Ren fairs, but I was starting to get back into the SCA. And there was just no way. There was no way I could convince him to come at all. And so I would go to events. And of course, since he is the sort of person that would say that's the gayest shit ever, he was an incredibly toxic person. And he didn't like me going to events without him so he could monitor my behavior. One of those guys that was classically having an affair with me and then like super paranoid that I was actually cheating on him. That was that guy in a nutshell. And so I now, after we broke up, because he dumped me for some other chick that I think he's still with, but whatever. Water under the bridge. It's 15 years ago. She's not as fabulous as me. Yes, dear?
I have a soapbox once you are done.
Okay, yes. I resolved never to date or be in a relationship with anybody who did not get the SCA. That's not going to be an answer for everybody, especially since people who come to the SCA, already in an extant relationship, and then that relation, maybe that partner does not want to be in that relation, or doesn't want to be in the SCA, doesn't find it interesting, finds it boring for whatever, host of reasons why. And I've seen that happen too with friends of mine as well. And all I can say is those relationships that work are the relationships where your partner says to you, hey, I'm not into that particular kind of geek, but go you. Have fun for the weekend, come back, we'll keep geeking out about the things that we geek out about together. But like once a month, do whatever you want, go out, have fun. Okay. Also, stick within the parameters of your relationship and everything like that. If it's not a, open relationship, don't start.
That right there.
Don't fucking tell people it is.
Yeah, but I think, just broadly speaking, the relationships that are I call them mixed marriages or mixed relationships, where it's a non-SCA person and an SCA person in a relationship. And I think that those kind of things are with the healthiest when they can actually say, hey, that's not my geek, but you get your geek on and I support you.
Yeah, girl.
Okay, first Helga and then Valora. Helga has a thing to say, and then Valora. I saw Valora's hand up.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say something. I'm gonna put something down. I have an angry soapbox here, so I'm sorry, guys. If you are not in a relationship that is healthy enough for you and your significant other to have different interests, and outside of it, get the fuck out. I have now read multiple comments in our thread. Or our YouTube thing where like significant others stalked people or were very insecure about the SCA and everything else like that. If you are in that relationship, I can tell you right out the gate, it doesn't matter what fucking hobby you're into, that person is toxic.
Yeah.
And that is something.
Maybe an example.
Yeah, that is something really to be. That is something really to be aware of. And to go into my history a little bit so everybody can, this is not a pity party. The one gentleman that I tolerated outside of the SCA in a relationship, I can speak straight from truth on this one, used to write me these letters when I would go to events. We dated for like 9 months. Would write me letters about how he was planning to commit suicide because I was away. If you are not in a place for open communication about your needs and your wants, and they are not in the same place, just exit the relationship, because I can tell you that relationship that I was in accelerated to the point of cops being involved, and some very bad shit happening that I'm happy to talk with outside of this conversation. But please, please understand that in a relationship, if you cannot maintain healthy boundaries with each other, just leave. There's plenty of fish in the sea. I will go wingman for you. I don't give a shit. Everybody should be able to have healthy boundaries within a relationship and still have a healthy relationship. So yeah, there's my very angry soapbox that I was going to go down a very dark hole, and I've decided not to because it's Friday and we all need to have a little bit of fun.
Dark hole. Phrasing.
Down the hole.
So mine. That's what not what.
Baby Ninja just said something very dirty on the back end, by the way.
To be fair, you
so
said
Baby Ninja. Okay, you're right. I did say the back end. God damn it. So Baby Ninja was like fisting, blah. What is it exactly? Repeat what you said, Baby Ninja. Oh, we're not fisting, because Helga looked like she was fisting. And then I said something about it being on the back
your hands first, then you make the fist. Never try to go in with a fist. Not
you
gonna
guys,
work.
There's so much education here. Valora, please continue.
So I think this would also apply if your significant other plays at a significantly, we might have been drinking already.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Significantly lower level of play than you want to play. So like, it doesn't have to be that they don't want to play at all. It could just be like, so I had to learn this the hard way of, I kind of suffer for a little bit from helium hand, especially where the crown is concerned. Because I feel that as a knight, it's my job.
You are healthy.
So I kind of suffer from that. And like, I came home and I was like, oh, I'm going to be so-and-so Stuart. And Nikita just went, what the fuck? I would like to see my girlfriend more than once a month. I was like, oh yeah, you're involved in this too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. So it could be also those conversations of, if your significant other wants to play at a lower level than you, of just, hey baby, I want to do this. Now I will caveat this with, I have come to him with, I'm doing this and you can fuck off right now. I have come with that phrase, and thankfully he's been like, I kind of figured you would. Okay, I'm not doing this with you. And I was like, okay, fine. So he has been very supportive in that regard, but like, I did have to learn there's more than me involved in this.
Well, and I think that rolls back to good communication.
Yeah.
As long as you're expressing your needs, wants, and intentions,
yep,
then anybody can play at any level while understanding also the consequences of it.
Yeah. But it's not just if they don't play at all. It could be if they don't want to play at that level, just make sure that they're aware.
Healthy relationships can do that.
As we're drinking.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, ready for the next question, because we soapbox the fuck out of this.
We're probably going to go over, but we've had technical difficulties. As long as that's okay with our guest.
Is that okay with our guest and our tech crew?
Let me check my burgeoning social calendar.
Tech crew, are we good?
Wait, hold on. We're talking about good communication.
Everybody's all saying, Baby Ninja's like, excuse me while I check my calendar.
I had to check my significant other since we've been talking about good communication. He says it's fine.
Good job. Go you.
Lessons.
Gold star.
All right, are we ready for the next question?
Yes.
So the next question comes from Stacy Last.
Oh, that's our, God damn, I didn't catch. Beforehand, I try to go in and I try to give everybody's SCA name. That's, come on.
Lori, I'm just going to give you a shout out real quick. I absolutely fucking adore you.
Who's Lori?
Lori Kavanaugh.
Oh, Morgan, Mistress Morgan.
Yeah, Mistress Morgan, like, it just literally flew out of my brain. She is one of my heroes of the FCA, and I absolutely fangirl over everything she fucking does. I grow up, I want to be a hero like her.
This bit of beauty right here, this is Mistress Morgan's. So,
that's Cool.
Oh, Mistress Morgan makes collapsible coronets. So
Yeah,
you're like, counting everything with it, and they're beautiful every time. But also, Mistress Morgan is one of the people that taught me. She reminded me, and I don't even know if she remembers this conversation because I was younger and we were chatting a little bit, and she was just like, honey, you are a fucking powerhouse and you should probably just let yourself be it.
So
that was it.
Morgan is one of these people, if we can just like fangirl Morgan for half a second. She's one of these people. She was a fighter back before, back before you were probably born, Araya. Sorry, Helga.
Yes.
Oh, wait, drink.
I'm almost out. Okay, so I'm testing my, pause for a minute, testing my boyfriend who says he's listening to this. Hey, Thorfinn, bring me another Sazerac right now. I tried texting him like 3 times and he hasn't actually listened to me. But so Morgan was in probably like the mid to late 80s, early 90s. Just about the time that I was starting to get into the SCA, Morgan was one of these people, one of these women who was putting on armor and getting out there and fighting. And she was fucking kicking ass, like just a really cool person. She also turns out to be a crazy, right? Amazing artisan.
Yeah, she's insanely good.
And she's also kind of one of these people that I'm not saying that she's going to be like the shy retiring type, because she's actually not, but she's one of these people that is just kind of a little bit below like where Helga and I operate up here on like the jazz hand level. Morgan's a little bit below that. And so you gotta sit there, you gotta find her, and you know where you can find her? You can find her on either in Merchants Row or wherever her camp is set up, and she's selling her beautiful fucking jewelry. But sit down with her, pour a glass of wine, have a conversation. This woman is priceless.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, so are we ready to go? Are we ready to go into the next question?
Wait, but what was your point about Morgan? She sent you a message saying that you were cool shit? Like what?
Oh no. Like I was just Morgan was talking in the comments, and I just had to fangirl over her for a moment.
Okay, so I think we've suitably like orally filleted Morgan.
Yeah, we have.
Girl, hey.
Which I've been waiting for so long, because honestly. So okay,
we've almost messed up my lipstick over Morgan.
So our question, Helga.
But it's totally mine.
Yeah.
This is, oh God, I can't pronounce that name.
Greth. It's Greth.
Greth? Okay, that's simple. I'm sorry. That whole reading thing, we went over this like 3 episodes
Sorry,
ago.
I know.
So from Greth is, what has become your weirdest quarantine ritual / habit?
I am a fairly boring person on average. So like my thing with quarantine is I have started doing all of the household projects that I've wanted to do. So I got my backyard all landscape. I got to use an auger. I've got to build swing sets and all this stuff. But it's like, I love that shit. It's amazing. I love using all my power tools in my garage. So like I keep going around my house going, what else could I build? I have used so much wood. So much. It has been
That's what she said.
So nice and smooth and put exactly where I want it.
Thank you, Angel.
And has served me so well. I have so many plans for so much more of it. That is my weird quarantine.
And so I didn't see if that one was posted, so I'm going to post that because I really want to hear this one from all our guests.
This is a really good question.
Sarah or Tulia, damn it, everybody drink.
What has become my weirdest quarantine ritual? I don't think anything that me and Thorfinn are doing is out of like I don't think it's weird. I don't know. I mean, it may seem weird depending on like where you are living and like what's considered normal for like, quarantine protocols. But what we do when we come into or when we leave our house, our little quarantine safe zone, we mask up, we have gloves on, nitrile gloves. And we'll go to the store with mask and gloves, and we'll, you know, do our shopping and everything as one should and does. And then once we get back, we will typically we'll take our shoes off because they've been outside the quarantine. So it's literally like, and I say this as someone who has OCD, but not in this particular way. It's kind of like the OCD, like I've been preparing for this all of my life. So we take our shoes off, we come into the house. As we're putting things away, we keep our mask and gloves on. We wipe everything down with, currently, because we've run out of Clorox wipes, because apparently there's an issue with like making the containers that the wipes go in. It's a whole thing. We now are using Lysol spray and a paper towel. We wipe everything down, we put it away, take the gloves off, wash the hands, take the mask off, dispose mask, well, they're reusable, but, you know, dispose of the mask in the, you know, laundry, come back, wash the hands again, and then you're good to go. So far, we have avoided any COVID. It's been working so far. I don't know, you know, be that as it may. We don't do any sort of extraneous like socialization. We don't go out. We don't really do anything. We've had a couple of people over. We had someone over to fix the air conditioning a couple of times and stuff like that. They wore a mask. We wore a mask. We've had one or two people come over for like backyard socially distancing cocktails in the intervening time, because Jesus Christ, everything is shitty. Like, come on, we are all gonna die if we don't do this.
90 people, damn it.
Yeah, honestly, and that's the thing. I'm just gonna really say it right now. Like, I struggle really hard. I am not a very socially active person. In fact, my normal state is literally to hide in the basement and just sew and not talk to anybody ever. But
okay, I hate to interrupt you. I'm gonna skedaddle to run to the restroom real quick.
No, that's a completely valid reason to skedaddle. I had to do that last week, like twice. But yeah, so I've gotten to a point now where 3.5 months in, almost 4 months in, where I'm like, I want to start thinking about forming a quarantine pod with other, you know, like one or two people, probably a couple, honestly, probably be a couple, who are also the same level of like quarantine paranoia that we are. And so like, we know that we can count on the fact that like when we're just having casual social interaction, and not social, it's casual interaction outside of our pod, outside of the world, we're masked, we're gloved, we're washing hands, we're wiping everything down and all that stuff. But I still want to be able to get together and see, you know, God, I want humanity. I want people. I need social interaction. Help. Sorry, having a moment.
I think we're all feeling it super hard.
We're all absolutely feeling.
Like, I can tell you that I am.
I don't, you know, and here's something else that's actually really interesting. So California is entering into one of these interesting phases. Like, we were doing really, really, you know, like we had a huge upswing on coronavirus cases and everything, like in like March, April, right? So we shut everything down. Like California just like locked everything.
I would like to know that she just made it back like that.
I know, that was the fastest
peak ever. Hardcore
Holy crap. But the now California is reopening again, and there's been a huge uptick in cases. I think one of those is California's reopening and everything is happening again, and B, more testing. So honestly, California was, and like the rest of the nation, was lagging way behind in testing. We really didn't have an understanding of how many cases there actually were. But now testing is more widespread, and so we're starting to see more cases, and it's just, it's a whole thing. But it is starting to get to the point where, you know, where's that tipping point? I guess I'm asking that, like, where is the tipping point between like, where is your quality of life and where is your, like, we're just going to suffer in our enclosure? And I think about that a lot. And I'm a person who firmly believes that this is a horrible thing that we really need to pay attention to, but I'm also starting to weigh that. Yeah. Helga?
All right, so what's become my weirdest quarantine ritual / habit? Beyond living in a house, not leaving. So this is where we're just gonna go into like now you're about to learn way too much about Helga. Is I basically stopped wearing underwear. Like there's no point.
Like that bitch in Florida who wouldn't wear a mask because she doesn't wear her
Oh
underwear.
no, fuck that bitch. Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna be political. We're gonna be political for a moment. I'm sorry, you just hit a fucking huge thing for me. Like, just Baby Ninja wins because he sent us a fucking thing of please, please, please wear a mask. If you are uncomfortable wearing a mask, use curbside pickup. Don't be that jackass that walks into a store because I would really like to see my friends. Like, I would really, really like to see my friends. And as the kid, even though I grew up super redneck and in a broken home and a bunch of weird shit, I followed the rules because I realized if I followed the rules, then I got what I wanted. And I will wear a mask in public. I haven't gone anywhere, and all the other fucking bullshit that goes along with it. Just please, for fuck's sake, just wear a mask in public and go from there. Because, and if you can't, like, I understand, like, they cause panic attacks, they do other things, blah, blah, blah. Just use curbside pickup. Stop being entitled.
Yeah, don't be a dick.
So we can all see our friends, because I'd really like, as much as I would like, as much as I like beating down 2 dukes to try to win Kerpel every month, I would really like to beat 4 or 5 dukes to do the same thing.
Hey, there's a duke here that would love to fight.
For
until
real.
It's safe, but until it's safe.
Yeah, I can't.
You just don't feel it's safe.
I can't risk my friends. But the weirdest quarantine ritual, I've just literally given up wearing underwear. Like, it's just an extra layer I need to put on. I basically live in yoga pants or my workout pants.
Wait, is that a ritual though, or is that just a?
No, it's like I've had to put on underwear, like, because we did a social distancing Father's Day for Hans's dad, where we literally, it was one of the best things I've done and also the most socially crushing things, because I love Hans's parents. Hans's parents are just sweet and kind and just delightfully wonderful humans, and I don't understand how that much goodness can exist in such a small package. And I couldn't touch them, so we all maintained social distancing. We like kept the food separated and everything else like that. But it was Father's Day, so we wanted to go and do that, and so we made sure that to the max we kept all separated and everything else like that. And that was the first time I put on underwear in like 2.5 months, because you don't wear blue jeans without underwear. That's just bad. That's how you get chafing.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's turned into a ritual because when I put on underwear, it was weird.
I'm surprised you even put on jeans. I'm like, I still don't even leave the house unless it's like, yoga pants ever. I mean, that was pre-COVID for me, so I don't know.
Yeah, and so that's my weird COVID ritual. Are we ready for the next question now that we discussed?
I think we did. I think we are. I think we absolutely are. This one comes from Bella. As a participant, fighter, or consort, do you prefer tournament fighting or melee fighting, and why? You guys get to answer that in both instances.
I'm actually both.
Okay.
I'm going to caveat this with I am the worst consort on the planet.
I don't know.
He's behind me going, oh, fuck yes you are.
I'm a terrible consort.
I am the worst consort on the planet because I will tell you how to beat my fighter. I will give my fighter shit if he loses. I think actually at a crowd he walked out of the Eric. I was like, hey, you should block better.
I imagine that's a thing when you actually know what you're doing.
But I will tell you how to beat my fighter. I will tell you what weapons to take into the Eric if you want to have better luck against him. And meanwhile, he's sitting there the whole time like, bitch, shut up.
I'll give away all my secrets, lady.
But I told people so much so if you haven't met Nikita, who was my lovely boyfriend and my consort.
I don't believe I have had the honor.
So he is 400 pounds of panda cuddly goodness.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I have flat out told people like, hey, he's really fat for a fast guy. Watch out for that. And he's like, That's my trick, woman. Stop it.
Really though.
And he's Gumby as fuck. So I'm like sitting there like, hey, he's really bendy. He does this. He does this. Watch out for the offside. And he's like, stop it. Just stop it.
Everybody's talking, by the way, in the comments, Valora, about how sweet your boy is.
Yeah.
He puts up with me, so there's got to be something. So I am the world's worst consort. But given the two, I enjoy tourney better just because I don't really think there's a role for a consort to play that's at least visible on the melee field. So I have a harder time with like the, you are my beautiful inspiration, my delicate flower, because I get to introduce Nikita, who is none of those things. And he gets to introduce me, who is none of those things. So I have a hard time with the like, you are my inspiration, you are why I do well. And it's like, no, nah. Like,
hey, inspiration.
Yeah,
it is what it is. You know, just roll with it.
So I enjoy tourney better just because I like fighting tournaments better. I do melees to be able to hang out with my friends all day because that's where they are. But I enjoy tourneys and singles fighting so much better. But I am the world's worst consort, and it's rough at crowns because we both fight. So we're like running around the Erics going, hey, you're fighting right now. I'm saluting that Eric over there because that's where he is. And like, hey, we have to like meet up at the end of rounds going, hey, did you win? Yeah, did you? No, haha, you suck. So we're like,
sorry, I'm just living this out right now vicariously.
I'm seeing Helga just be like, yes.
Also, I'm the worst consort. I cannot school my face at all. And so, like, you're supposed to be this beautiful, demure person on the side who's just lovingly watching her fight for her honor. And I'm the whole time going,
yeah.
Especially if I see stuff that's like, excuse me? What the what?
Yeah.
So I'm like sitting there, I'm like, yeah, I'm your inspiration. I'm like,
oh my God.
So
I'm having many feels about this.
But I am the worst at it.
Helga?
So, Hans and I are very similar. So the West is really amazing in the fact that both Hans and I try to pay attention to each other's fights. Mm-hmm. It's actually one of those things that we gift each other. And I have been very spoiled by my opponents who have like pointed out, hey, your guys come on the field. We will hold this fight for a moment, like so you can watch him fight. And vice versa, where he's had his opponent do the same thing, where they're like in the middle of salutes and they will finish salutes and they will both stand back and watch the other fight go on because both of us tend to be in the same tournaments. And so as a fighter and a consort, some of my favorite things are tournaments. Hans is not a huge warfighter, where he does valiant and epic shit on the warfield, like just literally jumping over lines of people. Like I've seen that athletic as fuck man run up somebody's shield and jump over into the backfield, which is super fucking hot, by the way, real hot. I really, really enjoy as a consort the tournament, because that is one of the very few places where both Hans and I will stand out of the tournament. And so we have this unspoken rule that turned into a spoken thing between us that if I'm still in the fight, he doesn't go to the rose field, and if he's still in the fight, I don't go to the rose field. So we actually turn into each other's consorts at that moment in time, versus just being like, oh, I'm gonna fuck off and fight, and I'll try to pay attention to you. And so I really enjoy how our relationship is developed around the tournament, because one of the things is it's actually us, and we've had this conversation. It's us doing honor to the other consorts. Where many other consorts aren't on the field, like Tulia and many of my other friends, they can't just be like, oh, cool, I'm going to go to the rose field and I'm going to continue like working on my renown. The consort is there for their fighter, and their fighter is there for them. And so that is a small way that we try to honor the other non-fighting consorts that are out there, is that both of us will sacrifice our ability to go fuck off and play while the other is still in the tournament. And occasionally that's frustrating because somebody goes to finals and crown. But it's a small way we can honor the other consorts out there. And I think it's one of the coolest things within the SCA. The consort fighter relationship is something very, very sacred to me. And while we're both fighting, both of us are kind of half-assed about it, where we're just like, cool, I saw your fight, like, you were amazing, or like, shit, I'm sorry, I was fighting at the same time. But a consort to me is almost the pinnacle of the SCA. It's something that is very sacred and very protected in my universe, which is the reason why I think that fighters are there to honor their consorts. And so I try to make sure that in every moment in time that I honor whoever I'm fighting for. Because I've fought for both Huns and I fought for many other consorts, both fighting and non. And that day is about them. That pageantry is about them. And so I try to continue that tradition on.
Just to FYI, everyone, Helga and I have had many discussions about consorting, and has been hugely helpful, actually. Because I came into this, I was in the SCA for 23-4 years, something like that, before anyone ever fought for me. And the moment someone started fighting for me, it was a super duke, and it opened up a huge weird can of worms that I had already become a Laurel. I had already achieved all the things I needed to achieve in the SCA, checked all the boxes, I was off, I was good, I am Leslie Nope, I am here for all of this, right? Until I got thrown in under this giant bus that's called like the high level fighting, like where people start actually watching you, or people start coming up to you the moment they know that your boyfriend is entering. Yes, Valora. Yeah.
Oh, no,
the moment that you know your boyfriend is entering in the tournament, they start like crowding around you, being like, "So, how's your court going to be? Who's going to be head of court? Who's going to be this? Who's going to be that?" And stop. Don't know how to do this. Never had any of this experience until the moment Thorfinn starts fighting for me. And Thorfinn, right? Like, big fucking man. He's probably like upstairs cringing really hard right now. Listening to this. If he's listening to this, I am testing him right now. There's going to be a test on this later. But so I ran to the people who knew how to watch things and how to act and comport themselves. And I got literally like the fire hose under fire, like everything's on fire. Oh, he just literally stomped on the floor. He's listening. He's right above my head. He's like, "I'm listening to you. Fuck you."
Has he brought you another drink?
Not, well, he did like 10 minutes ago. But
you might need another one for the question coming up.
But so the question, okay, so my point is anyway, that I had to turn to people who knew how to comport themselves in the lists. Helga was one. My best friend Ciela was another. There were many people that basically I was like, what the fuck do I even do in this situation? And that has been an ongoing process for about the last 4 years of understanding how to. It's a weird place to be. It's really weird. But to actually answer the real question that was asked, I prefer tournament fighting. Melee fighting, I'm like, oh God, everything's happening all at once. I have ADHD. I don't know how to listen, like watch, listen, anything. It's all just chaos in my brain. But, one-on-one, I can focus on that and I can see that and I can understand that. So that would be my answer to that. And this was a really weird conversation. Sorry, Thorfinn. I know I'm weird. Well, you love me, right?
It's okay. You two were actually like perfect for each other.
I know. Really weirdly. I think I've told the story too, where we hated each other initially. And then like 25 years later decided we actually were kind of in love with each other. He stomped me again. He's just stomping. Stop stomping!
I heard fucked. I didn't hear stomp. I heard he just fucked me again.
No, I mean, did you see him? That was really fast.
So are we ready for the next question?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I'm actually going to post this question to the chat group before I say it. And I'm going to welcome any chat feedback, and we'll probably bring this in. So this is probably one of the heavier hitting questions that we've ever had on this show. So please hang on. I promise we're following up with a funny question. It's worth the wait for the bonus question of the night. But please feel free to weigh in on this. We'll actually, so as three peers, and I can only speak for myself, I'm actually taking feedback on this one because our SCA is changing rapidly. So,
ding, ding.
The next question is from Eric. What does your personal conduct, including social media, cast a reflection on the reputation of your kingdom, your order, and the SCA as a whole? If so, how does it impact you day to day? And so this is the question of, are you a peer on social media?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pull this soapbox out here right now.
Yep.
And so I called soapbox early.
Before you go off, Valora, I want to say that in our comments, both for people watching later after this has been shot, and for the people watching right now, this is a very serious conversation and topic. If you wish to send any of us feedback, please do. Valora, I'm not speaking for you. Sarah, I'm totally speaking for you since you're my co-host and you and I tend to run the same brain cell. This is a conversation that is developing within the SCA, and I really think that the peers should be paying attention to it. And so please feel free always to send me feedback. I will listen and I will talk with you about it.
Samesies. Yeah. Yeah.
Valora, and your soapbox?
Okay. So I am a huge proponent of who are you when no one's watching. I am a huge proponent of this. If you behave nicely because you want to be a knight and you only behave nicely when all the knights are around, you're a fucktard. If you're going to treat people horribly because they're not a peer or because the peerage that you're trying to impress is not watching you, you're a fucktard and you never earned or deserve that peerage.
Can I just say right now, I like Valora, like super hard.
Valora is our hero.
Super love you.
So,
super. Yeah, keep inserting the word fucktard because it's a really good one.
I subscribe to I can't remember who posted it, but in the long ago in the before times, like there was I am a like well-educated, classy woman who says fuck a lot. And I do. So
I would like to just claim that I introduced you to fucktard.
Really?
You did. That was after Nikita went, hey, you're basically the same person, right? You should like each other. It was like, are we allowed to?
And then we did. There's a photo of all three of us as like weirdly weird, awkward unbelts together, and I enjoy the shit out of it.
Oh, Valora, I just got a text from my boyfriend who says, you're rad.
I am fabulous.
Tell her I think she's awesome. Morgan says, tell her I'm just literally like right here. You can see. I'm like, I don't think you can see that.
I'm actually blushing now.
I don't know. He's fangirling you hard. You whatever. Anyways,
so,
yes.
Being a big proponent of who you are when people aren't watching, I think the internet counts. Mm-hmm. That is the biggest form of no one's watching you. No one can control your actions. So who you are when that happens is who you are. And if that's not a peer, you need to be okay with that.
Mm.
Yep.
So like...
Full stop, everybody drink. That was a hard soapbox.
Okay, fine, I'm drinking.
So it's and as we do, like I've been in Night Circle longer, so that's the one that I have most experience with. I don't think I've been a Pelican a year yet, so I'm super new baby Pelican. So I don't know about that circle as much, but like for a night, like your consort and your significant other can play a big role in how you feel about peers. And if you're an asshole to the ladies when knights aren't watching, we will hear about it, or we should, and you should feel comfortable coming to us and telling us about it, because we need to know that shit.
Mm-hmm.
If they're acting like an asshole, like if they're picking up baskets when the knights are watching, going, oh, they're watching, yeah. But as soon as a knight turns their back, if they're like, pick up your own damn thing, like, you should tell us that stuff, because we need to know that.
Fuck yes, please. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for a second on your soapbox. I, like, mini soapbox compared to my prepared soapbox.
Soapbox girl.
The mini soapbox is, we cannot police our own without your help. Please, as non-peers and peers, we need you to bring us the people that are fucking up. Because we cannot do it without your help. And I realize that it is scary and it is hard and it is something where you are risking a lot. And so if you need to do that, I will volunteer right now. If you have to do it anonymously, fucking contact me. End of story.
Helga?
Yes?
Do you want to just, like, you and I sit here and be like, you want to message the show or us individually?
Yeah. You can do that. Like, you can message, and I'll say that. So with Tulia, with your permission, I'll say you can message the show. You can message myself. You can message Tulia. I'm pretty sure you can message Valora, and she is going to fucking go just kick somebody right in the taint. We cannot police our own without your help. And I just want to honor the fact that it is very scary to do so. You're risking a lot. And so if you need to do it anonymously, do it through one of us, because we will do it. Because I can guarantee that the 3 peers here and the 2, actually I'm using the 2 behind the scenes, because Baby Ninja may not be a peer yet, but he is definitely the fuck on that path.
And Baby Ninja's all like, suddenly looks like deer in headlights.
Yeah, seriously, he looks like a deer in the headlights.
What? What'd I do?
And Curious, who is
Curious
also
is biting his fist.
I
right
can
now.
tell you that all of us want to see the SCA survive, which means doing the hard things. So please, please, please message us. We'll back you. We'll do it anonymously. We'll do the other things. We will do the hard things so you feel safe in the society.
Yeah.
Okay, mini soapbox done.
Okay.
Back up on this bitch.
All right, we're in there. Helga, I think that actually maybe counted as your answer.
No, I actually have.
Oh, you have another answer.
I have a really hardcore answer on this one.
She just soapbox on my soapbox. She double soapbox.
I double soapbox, so everybody drink.
I'm like on the second podium now.
I'm like literally down to like half an inch. Okay.
Thorfinn better hurry the fuck up.
So I think like we need to hear about that, because I feel as a peer, you're drinking.
I drink with you, girl.
As a peer, it's my job to protect that peerage. And I don't think anything destroys the populace's belief in the peerage quicker than really that fucking guy. That fucking guy's a knight. Really? He did this and he did this. If we don't know that, we can't bring that up.
Yeah.
We can't address that. I think the internet counts in that, because that is the ultimate no one's watching. Who are you? And the only way that you can really say, I don't know about you guys, but when I was made a peer, I was told, you're now visible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that was number one.
Yeah. You no longer have the ability to be anonymous.
Yeah.
Like, you are visible. So guess what? You're visible now. Everywhere. The only way you are not visible online is if you have 2 Facebook pages, Twitter. I don't know what else is out there. Yeah, those. Instagram.
All the shit the kids are on these days.
If you have 2 and one is your mundane life and you do not let any crossover happen, that is the only way that you can be truly not visible online, is that. Like, I keep my SEA and my mundane life completely separate. Otherwise, you're visible and you're a peer when you're visible. And if you didn't want that level of visibility, don't take the peerage. That's what they tell you. You're a peer now. You're a peer forever. Can you have bad days? Yes, you can have fucking bad days, but you have them in your safe place around your friends. If you need to just scream from the top of your lungs, you do that in a safe place around your friends who know how to handle that. And if you can't do that, don't take the peerage, because that's what it means. You are now this, and you need to live up to this ideal, and you need to be this thing in front of people.
Mike, this is Mike. Drop.
That's the mic drop. So since I answered,
I'm thinking a mic drop is an upgrade on a soapbox.
Yeah, mic drop is an upgrade on the soapbox. Just everybody drink. Sarah, I believe it's your turn for this one. Before I have my weird soapbox about this one.
Mm.
Sorry, I have feels, and I feel.
No. That is super. Okay.
I want to be clear, Valora.
It's not just the Knights.
So Tilly and I actually vetted the questions before. So we vet the questions from Wednesday on, and chose some very loaded questions to have these conversations with you, because we know that you are a very raw and true peer.
Yeah.
That is very much so for the populace, and so we chose to do this on this show with you for a very specific reason. So.
Yeah.
Rock that little gold star.
So,
but it's not just the Knights. Like, it's all peerages.
Exactly. And that was what I was
going to say. All of them.
That's what I was going to say. It's all the peerages. It is the royal peers. It is the knights. Or chivalry, I should say. Chivalry. It is the order of defense. It is the pelicans. It's the laurels. We are all under a microscope in this moment, because where we are right now, and this is going to go into kind of the crux of my answer to all of this, we can only interact online right now. And before we had the luxury of being like, well, my online persona or my online life on Facebook is different than my SCA, life in the real world where we interact and meet
people on it. It's not.
Yeah. So now what we're seeing is this entire thing of the real world, the meat space interaction, as they would have said in like 1999 when I was highly active on the internet in my 20s, it is less of a divide now. We can only interact online. We can only interact with one another online. The things we post on social media fucking matter. They fucking matter. They are literally the distillation of our beliefs, who we are. So I'm a person who is 42 years old. I have been online since I was 18, 17. Actually, I've been online since I was 13. But that was AOL, and all of those servers were wiped, so you don't get to know about that. But I've been online for over half of my life. There's a lot of history there that exists still to this day, since Google became a thing in the late 90s. If you know the right words to Google, you could probably pull up some shit on me. Right. And most of it is just like, I like costuming and super stupid. But I have in my maturity learned that it is a thing that the divide between online life and offline life is narrow and narrower and narrower. It is never more narrower than it is right now. The only way we can talk to one another, the only way we can interact with it, the only reason the show even fucking exists is because we can't get together in person and have events and party and like be in face-to-face with one another without fear of a deadly goddamn disease. So yes, at this point in time, your personal views that you get to say don't affect the SCAU, they fucking matter. It is literally just throwing open the gates on this entire, like, oh, there's a divide between my mundane life and my SCA life. It's throwing that gate open and saying, actually, there's not. There's no real difference. Who you are in the real world affects who you are in the SCA. If you are a piece of shit, bigoted, racist, sexist, homophobic asshole in the real world, you're going to be a racist, bigoted, etc. God damn, I've had so many Sazeracs. Asshole in the SCA. And it's going to happen. It's going to come out. And we're seeing it happen everywhere. And Valora.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I'm not saying that you can't have a difference of opinions, but there is a way to properly express that.
If you're sitting there, if your opinion is literally shitting on somebody else, I don't care what anybody says. I'm not going to wear a mask because pew pew, it's all a fucking conspiracy and it's all the libtards. Like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit, right? Just going to say that. If you're like, well, you know, I'm a person who has some like conservative values, but I feel like we can have a discussion about all these things, like that's a completely different thing. But right now in this political circumstances, there is like very few examples of that actually happening because most people, yeah, it's just all. Baby Ninja was like, Illuminati, don't even bring the Illuminati into this. Illuminati into this. But it's all just, I'm sorry, I just fall on the divide of you are not someone in the SCA that you are not outside of the SCA. The end.
All right, we ready for my soapbox?
Fucking soapbox the shit out of that girl.
Everybody pre-drink, because I'm about to go the fuck off. I would like to thank all of our viewers and listeners for hanging on with us for officially the longest show that we have hosted.
I know, every single week we're like, oh gosh, this has gone long. This is the longest show.
And we've had shows anywhere from an hour and 15 minutes to 2 hours. And this one, we brought up some very serious conversations because they probably need, well, it's not they probably need to happen. They need to fucking happen. Mm-hmm. And our poor guests are subjected to them. Valora, thank you very much for riding this out with us. And also expressing your opinion in a very articulate and very forthright way. I would like to note that you need to go read the YouTube comments.
I'm catching up on them right now.
You have fucking you have fucking fans. Just so you know. So the Modern Maker brought up a question, and I'm trying to scroll back to it real quick because we've had a shit ton of stuff come up of basically how do we police our own. And how does something come up?
How do you this is it. How do you handle it when the peerage circle knows about the bad behavior and has decided to protect the abuser, which is
I'm going to address that within my response to this question.
Sure.
And amusingly enough, when I fucking chose this question too, and I didn't expect it to be this charged, and I probably should have. I expected well, fuck it, whatever. It's charged. It's the thing. The SCA is doing its thing right now. So I'm gonna try to address that within my response to this, and so please hang on for this ride. So one, personal conduct on social media matters. The thinning of the veil. There is no longer a separation of who you are and what you are at the gate. Social media has changed that. And if you are not prepared for that, don't be a part of social media. Because that's the only way that you can be two different things. And I will tell you that as a peer, I have no intention of Araya being any different than Helga, ever. The reason why for that, I'll even drink to that.
Well, that's worth drinking to because that's absolutely true.
Helga has made Araya a better person. And we've touched on this in previous episodes. of the SCA was a way for me to rewrite my character sheet and figure out who I actually wanted to be. And there is a very big difference between politics and human value. Politics is how we spend our money and where we spend our money, and some basic idea of how big government should be and how big and how government shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. Politics is not human rights. None of us have the right to tell somebody else they do not get to exist. And for the dichotomy of tolerance, as soon as you tell me somebody doesn't have the right to exist, as a knight, you are now my target. Because I have friends that are POCs. I have friends in the LGBTQ community. I am one, actually. I am openly bi and poly. And to tell them that they don't have the right to exist because of how they were programmed doesn't compute. If you need to have that, fucking keep it to yourself. There is no difference between the person that you are online and the person that you are at the gate.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you, as a woman, and we're going to go down a weird rabbit hole here real quick. Or not real quick. I can tell you that if you post something online that says, oh, women, like, what were you wearing when you were raped? I can guarantee you I'm never going to trust you at an event. Mm-hmm. Ever in my life, I will never trust you. And you do not deserve that trust. So as peers, as non-peers especially, what you say matters. And the invention of social media is not ruining the SCA.
Nope.
The invention of social media and how it reflects upon us is showing us who should be peers and who should not be peers. Because it is letting us see true humanity. Especially right now where we are stuck in boxes and we are away from our friends and we are away from our abilities to vent and we are frustrated and tired. And I will tell you right now, the reason why that weighs so much on me is that when I was fostered to Havek, I did not become his squire until we traveled together and we were tired and both of us could see how we treated waitstaff. Because
exactly.
when you have not slept for 24 hours and you are tired and you have been fighting all week and you are sore and you just want food, if you treat that waitstaff with respect, even though you just want a fucking cup of coffee, you are actually a peer. Because you can take your own needs and not make them demands. You can understand what that person is going through. You can humanize yourself with them. If you cannot, I'm sorry, step the fuck off. The old SCA, the SCA of the 70s and 80s, before the internet, is actually gone. It is fundamentally something that will never return. And so until we can actually understand that and absorb that, we're going to continue to have these fights and these conversations and these hard things where people are going to be like, well, we should be able to leave politics at the gate.
Nope.
Politics is not humanity. Value is not humanity. And so to address the secondary question of what happens inside a council when somebody gets called out, that is changing so rapidly. And if I cry, I'm very sorry. So I was sexually assaulted by a member of the chivalry within the SCA as an unbelt. And it only did not turn to rape because I pulled a knife on him. And I don't actually care that he was a peer at that moment in time. Literally, the only reason it stopped is the fact that I was armed. And for years, it was buried. And then I was knighted in the middle of the Me Too movement. I have no photos of my buffet. There's no video, there's no photos. And thank God everybody honored that because I was protecting my king at that moment in time of He is a 6'7" man slapping a 5'5" female. And if that went outside of the SCA context, it would have been devastating. I am honored to be knighted by him. I will never regret that. I will never regret protecting him. The SCA is changing rapidly. And I will tell you that many peers who protected the peerage are now understanding that they must protect the peerage by outing those who violated the oath. It has gone from a good old boys club to an actual peerage and to our actual oath. And it is very hard to watch that transition because I'm watching my heroes fall. And I am watching my heroes own some terrible shit that they did. That is what peerage actually is. Peerage and becoming a peer is owning your own devastating actions. And that's what we are trying to do as an order and across all orders. And I will tell you that the weight is heavily on the chivalry. We are the most visible order, and we are also we are the order that has violated it the most. And so, to answer your question about how is it being dealt with in council, it is being dealt with violently and swiftly. And now it has gone from something that is behind the woodshed to publicly we are hanging our own. Because the populace,
it needs to happen.
It needs to. The populace lost faith in us. Mm-hmm. The populace lost faith in the knights because of how much protection happened. And so there is years of penance that will take before we will have true faith again. And that is very hard, being a member of the chivalry and being somebody that was violated by the member of the chivalry. But I will tell you that I swore my oath in very real blood because I want to see all of the orders survive, not just the chivalry. And in that means that I have to call out my friends and I have to call out myself. That if I violate my oath, I must own it. And I must not own it just within the oath, I must own it publicly. Otherwise, we as a society will fail the next generation.
Because it's not just the orders, it's the entire society.
Yep. And so that is my weird soapbox and a lot of emotion. The thinning of the veil is the best thing to ever happen to the SCA. Because nobody can be a closeted racist. Nobody can be a closeted homophobe. Yes, the SCA is very left-leaning.
Well, we'd like to think it is, but I don't think it actually is.
I think it actually is, and it's coming out more and more. We are stopping to tolerate, we are no longer tolerating the abuse that goes with it for the idea of surviving. We now, I think in the last 4 months, we now understand that if we don't choose a side, we will die.
I agree 1,000% with everything you said, but I will say that I think the biggest failing, and I came in the 90s, the early 90s, and it was one of these things that I heard over time and time again, that, you know, do as thou wilt and harm none. And really what that was saying was, you know, well, as long as they aren't actively hurting somebody, it's completely okay. And
I think the idea of actively hurting somebody has changed.
Exactly. Well, that was where I was going, is that now we understand, or we have a growing understanding of where the, you know, just because you didn't see it happen doesn't mean it didn't happen. Doesn't mean that person's experience was invalidated. Doesn't mean that peer that was shitty to somebody, or that person who assaulted somebody, but didn't quite commit rape. You know, and I mean, and I will say this, honestly, every woman in the SCA, and I'm saying this as I'm clutching my proverbial pearls, I feel like every woman who's been in the SCA for any length of time can say unequivocally they've had a non-consensual experience forced on them. I know for fuck's sake I have. I had this forced on me multiple times when I was underage. And, you know, I am a bold person. I am not somebody who's going to just sit there and my last couple of episodes, you can go back and watch, and I've had a whole, spiel about that. I'm not somebody that's going to just sit idly by and be like, no, I can't say a thing because somebody is more whatever. Even at 15, I was not afraid to say, just fucking back off. You're being a creeper. But that was shit that was actually condoned in the 90s. And I like to think that the 90s were something that was not like ancient history. And I still get people to this day who are in their 20s, girls and non-binary and, presenting as female, vulnerable, who come to me and say things like, this is still happening. People are still being creepy and weird and lechy. And that's a problem. That is a fucking problem. That is something that we need to talk about, and we need to keep talking about. Of all the other things we need to keep talking about, and I feel like now I'm about ready to like derail this entire conversation, but
we're having a hard conversation.
Well, let's keep having this conversation. The Lady of the Lake comes.
Oh my god, I love the fucking Lady of the Lake.
Before you do the Helga, before you do Lady of the Lake, let me just wrap this up. We are here to keep having this conversation.
Yes.
Keep having it. We're here and we're listening.
Yes. And so I'm just going to take that to the camera.
Oh, that's our Spite Sprinkle Sprite. I have decided that's the name of the little Spite Sprinkle, is a Spite Sprinkle Sprite.
Totally. And so I'm going to, there was a couple comments that came in. One, does this conversation happen to involve what happened with the East today? And part of it is yes.
Yeah.
That is the chivalry learning to openly police their own.
Yep.
We have policed our own quietly behind the scenes for years. And that is rapidly changing.
That's not good enough. Honestly, I don't think that's good enough. The behind the scenes shit, not good enough.
We can't do behind the scenes anymore.
Yeah.
And so this is the first stage of, and I will honor the Eastern chivalry. I will also honor the knight that the first signature on that sanction is her own. A lot of people haven't paid attention to that. The person that stepped out on the line is owning the fact that she did and signed that petition. She is the first name. And that's how we regain the faith of the populace, is not through hollow action of, we'll deal with it later, but through active action and surrendering and or dealing with the problem presented. She has given up her regalia. And so I hope that she gets to re-earn it. May this be an example for other knights out there, and we'll go from there.
Can I just interject? I hope that this is an actual change, that this is an actual thing, and not just a performative action to signify a certain amount of, penance for a grievance that was literally fucking shoved in her face.
I don't think it is.
I'm just going to put that out there as a non-shiv.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to continue to do that. And we will.
Valora?
Jeff?
So just one thing I want to throw out there is, like, understand this is unprecedented as far as this publicly having to police our own, because again, everything is on the internet, so everybody's seeing it. So we're going through growing pains, and we're having to completely redefine what things mean and what counts. So like, bear with us. We really are trying to fix things and make it to where everybody can be safe and play. But we're having to learn this stuff because it's new. It is completely new. But we're working and we're trying. We're at least we're trying to do things.
Yeah. And that's the Shiv and I'm just going to speak as Shiv on this one, and I'm going to speak alone on this, and anybody can back me as they want, or they cannot. The Shiv themselves have to re-earn faith. And that means that, like, what happened today is going to continue to have to happen. The banishments of the last couple of weeks continue to have to happen. Mm-hmm. And so it is not going to take one action to pay penance for what has been done over years. And so that's my weird take on it.
I just got I got a text from my boyfriend who said keep going as long as we need to keep having this conversation.
There's a comment that I want to address within there if you guys are okay with me doing that.
Yeah, no, keep going. Well, I apparently have permission because my boyfriend's like, keep going.
Well, so Duke Thorfinn said that we can keep going.
So obviously we can keep we're gonna do what we want to do.
One of the things that came up in the comments is that conservatives are being punished for their views. Again, I'm going to push. There is a difference between being politically conservative and humanity. Yeah. When you cross the line into human value is the problem. And that I will encourage everybody to do that, because I will tell you that I am financially conservative. I'm pretty liberal about a bunch of other things besides gun rights, where I think that, most people should have fucking gun rights.
We're liberals who own guns. Come at us, bro.
I have a gun. I have a 2,000-pound gun safe down in my garage.
Exactly.
And so one of the things is I think that we need to start divorcing and addressing the difference between being conservative and being bigoted or being racist or anything else like that. There's a very big difference in that. And we need to stop assuming that one title means everything else like that. And we actually need to take back politics versus taking back humanity. And I'm going to say this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, and this opinion is backed by nobody else in this show, so I want to be very, very clear. Conservatives and any political party, so liberal, conservative, fucking libertarian, everything else like that, are just like the Knights are in the SCA right now. There has been enough damage done in your name that you need to very clearly stand up against some issues and for other issues. And you need to understand that you also need to say, I am a conservative for human rights issues, but I am physically conservative. And I think that is where we need to continue to work on, because right now, all titles and all tags have been muddled super hard in the political idea. And so the like conservative witch hunt within the SCA is not actually real. People are trying to root out the people that are bigoted and racist and homophobic and everything else like that. Because frankly, in my mind, those people don't belong. I don't care if you're conservative. I care a lot if you feel that because I'm bi, I shouldn't exist. Valora,
you realize it. Oh, no. She just can't make up her mind. She's just a slut. She wants to fuck everybody. Fuck you.
I've been told that to my face.
I know you have, because that's a thing that is right. That is a thing that exists in the world. Yeah. No.
There is a huge difference in the technically, if you look at it, I'm conservative. But there's a big difference between I would not have a poly or an open relationship, and I am definitely straight, like with no bi tendency or anything like that. There's a big difference between me saying I am these things, and that's okay. But the difference comes in if I start judging other people on what their preferences are.
Exactly.
And saying they're wrong because of them. That's the difference.
This was something that goes back to a conversation that happened online fairly recently. And someone was talking about representation on the thrones in the SCA, about how, it's all white, straight guys, like men, cis, het, white men. And I was like, do you realize, though, that the consorts, the people who are sitting on the throne next to that cis, het, white guy, 9 times out of 10, or however the percentage, represent a wider variety out there than just, hi, I'm also a white cis. You know, that is something that that's probably another soapbox for another day. I don't want to actually derail and make this go longer, but I want this to be brought up, that this is something that we still see as discounted and not recognized, which is, we're everywhere. We are fucking everywhere. We are in every single facet of the SCA. And if you continue to be a piece of shit to one facet of the SCA or 5 facets of the SCA, you're gonna have to either just bury it really, really deeply and don't put it on Facebook, and you won't get kicked out. Or if you put it on Facebook, hey, you're going to get the fucking kicked out. And most people can't like divide the two. The end. I don't know if that makes any sense. Oh, I just got a text message. Thorfinn just sent me a text message, stay on target. Oh, I'm off target, baby.
Stay on target.
I love your man so hard. So I think
off target right now.
Right now, that this is a very, very charged thing, and it's a thing that is developing within the SCA. Mm-hmm. I will ask our listeners and our viewers that if you feel safe enough, please feel free to reach out. I mean, I will say that reach out to me, reach out to other people on the show.
Me. Yeah. Reach out to me. I am the biggest goddamn ally ever. Can we just like spread ally over this? Because
yeah, like, we can do that.
Shit.
And so part of it is we want to see the SCA be better, and we want to see the SCA survive. Please feel free to reach out to us to continue this conversation, because it can be long and it can be very, very hard. And we've already captured you guys here for 2 hours. And so
we're going to move on.
I'm going to move us to the bonus question and encourage all of us to continue this conversation outside of the show. So the bonus question for the evening, let me find it. Oh my God.
Oh, it's right here. I'm looking at it. It's Maggie.
The bonus question is the most badass question that has ever been set into this episode, this show, ever.
It's so good. So good.
Tulia, do you wish to take this away?
I will do this. Maggie the Potter asks, if the 3 of you were able to rob a bank, which one of you would be the bagman? Which would be the getaway driver? And who'd be the ringleader?
Oh my God.
I know, right? Literally the best questions that's ever been asked of the show ever.
Hang on. I gotta get ready.
Also, a Maggie mug. A beautiful Maggie mug. Feedtheravens.com.
Oh my God. Before we started the thing, I was looking at my cabinet going, which Maggie mug do I want to do? I have a Maggie mug problem. It's not a problem. I fucking love it.
I know, right? It's not a problem if you like it, right?
So I should preface this with, I try to say I'm chaotic neutral. I am not. Mm-mm. I am the most lawful good person like ever.
Oh my God, super identify right now.
I self-identify as.
So literally choked up my cocktail because I identify so hard.
I'm really not. I can't. I try so hard, but I really can't. I'm the most lawful good person like ever. I am not adventurous. Like, I am the person who's like, guys, you shouldn't let that person in the porta-john. That's bad. Like,
I know, right?
That person. I am the buzzkill. So given that scenario, I would probably be the getaway driver, because it would be the one thing that I could do. Be like, I'm not actually doing something wrong. I just drove my friends to the party. It's okay. So I would probably be the getaway driver.
I actually hardcore agree with that.
Wait a minute. So that either makes me the bagman or Helga the mastermind. I would go with Helga the mastermind. Helga is the
I'm
master.
actually gonna go with Tulia would be the mastermind of the whole thing.
No. Actually, I'm kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, the bagman would be really good for me because I look super innocent. I walk in with my wimple, and I'm like,
oh, bagman! I heard bagman. So
oh, bag, like putting in the bag. No, it's bagman.
I'm still gonna go with
I would be the bagman. Helga would be the mastermind.
Lady of the Lake. Lady of the Lake.
Lady of the Lake.
Lady of the Lake says,
bitches, you don't
I'm
even
the
know.
lookout.
What's it say?
Which is totally correct, by the way.
What does it say?
I'm the lookout.
Oh, yes, for sure. Lady of the Lake is absolutely the lookout.
I don't know. I would still go that Tulia is the mastermind because even though I don't personally know you, I like have this image in my head of like, ooh, I like pretty things.
Well, yeah, but
I
the
think
person
they're
who's going to
pretty things. You
coordinate.
know what we should do, guys? We should do this.
Yeah.
I feel
Because
like
I need pretty things.
honestly, I would be the person who would be like, but that's really bad because I am also lawful good, even though I don't want to be. Look at me clutching my pearls really hard.
So
And I would put Araya as the bagman because I could totally see Araya like, oh shit, this stuff needs to move. Got this, bitches. Sit down. Got this. Gonna lift this up. I'm doing my muscle workouts. Got this. We're just gonna toddle over here and take care of this shit. Like Araya's like the get it done person in our group, I think.
Well, that's why I think she's the mastermind.
It's gotta happen.
So here's my take on this question. Valora, I think you're the getaway driver.
Yes.
I am.
Tulia is the bagman.
Yes.
And I'm going to be a jackass and say I'm the mastermind because I realize that I am the paladin out of the group.
Yes, you are.
However, the paladin doesn't run off societal norms. I run off my own internal motherfucking code.
You mean spite
And
sprinkles?
my internal code can convince you to be the getaway driver and convince Tulia to be the bagman, and that it is all within your natural alignments to let this happen. That's the reason why I think I'm the mastermind of this, is because I'm going to use your natural alignments to get the fucking job done.
That's I'm like, I could totally see Raya convincing me, going, you wouldn't let me go alone, would you?
She'd just be like, no.
Although, I'm sorry, I have to drink. On this one, I used everybody's Monday name.
Oh, yeah.
Love you, sweetheart. It's okay.
And so that's my take on it, is that my natural paladin state will take over as the ringleader and convince both of you guys that we are in the moral, righteous goodness to rob this bank. I am going to Robin Hood the fuck out of this.
Because here's me, I'm like, I don't think I could actually do it unless I had a morally, like, unambiguous reason to do it. And you're all like, you could save all the kittens. And I'd be like, yes, I am into saving the kittens.
How many kittens can we save by robbing this bank?
You get Nikita on board with that argument.
See?
All the time.
We're saving kittens.
I am not the morally righteous paladin. I am just the paladin about my own moral code.
That's why you are. So Helga, I think you're lawful neutral. Does that make you lawful neutral?
I think that makes me chaotic.
Rude.
Yeah, I think that would be chaotic.
We're hearing. By the way, we're getting a background from Baby Ninja right now that you can't hear.
Okay, actually, sorry.
Can you be
I'm sorry.
Like,
That is totally going to fall into. So Baby Ninja just lectured us. And I would like to note that by his definition, I 100% fall into lawful good, because my moral compass denotes that I will act upon my moral compass.
I'm calling bullshit on the lawful good, and I'm going lawful chaotic because I have seen you.
For Helga?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God, no, she's not lawful good.
No.
Not lawful good. I am lawful
child-ish. I'm gonna drop this right here and watch what happens.
Okay. I will totally do that. Actually.
Okay. we're gonna post this question to the Facebook group. You all get to decide what alignment Helga is.
I'm sorry. They must back their argument. You don't just.
No, you got to present us.
You have to say what argument. And I'm going to give everybody the note of I fall into the category of a faith knight because my ideal, I will die for my ideals, but I'll also fuck with everybody.
Hang on, my panda from the pond. I don't have a lady of the lake. I have a panda from the mud puddle. Has an opinion.
Oh, he's
I'm
right
sorry,
here.
Would you like to invite him in for this opinion?
Come on, bring him in.
So, I'm pretty sure Raya is neutral good because she will do bad things to get the right thing done, but she's always doing. She'll follow the law, or she'll be like, "I'm going to kick the puppy in front of the car so the car stops and doesn't run over all the puppies."
I agree. I actually super agree with that.
I can't argue with his logic either.
She's neutral good.
I am.
So we all like to think of ourselves as chaotic, whatever.
I love the fact that people put me as chaotic lawful.
No, that's not even a thing.
I'm pretty sure that I am. I'm pretty sure that I am chaotic lawful. So either way,
my D&D nerd boyfriend hasn't weighed in, so I don't even know.
He weighed in on the chat group on YouTube and said, "Hello, big sexy."
Okay, that too. Was he talking to me or you, Helga? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so anytime we pause for a long time, we're hearing Baby Ninja talking in the background. So Baby Ninja said that I was a wizard because of what? Repeat that again. My garb magic. I can make fabric do whatever the fuck I want. He thinks I am a wizard.
Like that shit's magic.
It is pretty magical, right?
Yeah.
But
okay.
I don't understand.
So was that all of us answering the question that pretty much I'm the ringleader, Steph's the getaway, and
I mean,
I think all three of us agreed to this.
You did say you could talk me into it, and I'm pretty sure you talked me into you would totally be the ringleader.
I'm actually completely okay with this whole thing, with the Lady of the Lake being the lookout. I am.
No, the Lady of the Lake is 100% our lookout.
Also, the Lady of the Lake will cut your throat.
Oh, for fucking real.
Do not underestimate this.
So.
Okay.
I was about to say, we got the crew to rob a bank.
Yeah, we do. Actually,
very Robin Hood style. I'm really kind of weirded out that I've turned into the Robin Hood figure, and so I'm gonna have to break that down later. I'm not drunk enough for that.
God, that makes
we'll unpack that in the post.
Yeah, I am trying to talk.
So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close out this wonderful episode of Between Two Peers, where we've had tech issues, we have faced some of the issues that are currently dealing with the society, and what I'm going to say is that I want to thank our guest very, very much. Laura, thank you so much for joining us and weighing your opinion in not knowing what was coming at you tonight. You are
the right. You talked me into this. It's
I did.
True.
I would like to know that personally, you're one of my heroes. So just fucking suck that dick.
That's what she said.
It's an over-enlarged clit, and I'm sensitive about it.
I love you.
Yeah. So you're a hyena like me, whatever. And so I just want to say thank you so much to all of our viewers for coming in and spending the time with us every week, sending in questions, giving us feedback, and how we can improve the show. Right now, so by the way, I literally have a end statement off the cuff. One of the things that I want to say is that so many of us are missing our people. So many of us are missing the human interaction while this is going on. And both Tulia and I may be a little drunk. Tulia and I are driven by the fact that you continually ask us to do this.
Right. Weird. Super weird.
I know, and spur us on and support our guests and everything else like that. And so I want to say a very, very deep thank you to all of our viewers, both live and whoever catches up later. You're the reason why we keep doing this. You're the reason why we continually, every week, put on makeup and get in garb and sit here and answer questions that have been submitted. And I want to thank you to every guest that has come on this show. Valora, I want to thank you for joining us this week, because
you are guests, the longest group that we've been, or longest.
Yeah. Well, without guests, Tulia and I would be sitting here jerking off each other to various questions,
which we do all the time anyway. So
yeah. So just imagine the jerk off motion. Go from there. Whatever fantasy you need to have, ride that out. Next week we have Baron Aaron joining us here. And
that was amazing.
He was so much fun.
Oh my
he's
god,
fucking amazing!
This dude is a delight. And I would expect a fireworks level show. So what I would say is I'm going to do the terrible broadcaster thing. I'm going to beg you to like the shows. I'm going to beg you to follow us on YouTube. I'm going to say follow us on Facebook. The more comments we get and likes on YouTube end up helping us like jump things up. But also it makes it so we know that you guys want us to keep going. So thank you very much in this very, very hard time within the SCA and also in our personal lives.
We're going to keep doing this.
You're the reason why we keep going.
And we're going to keep doing it. So
yeah.
Thank you.
Rock it on. Send your questions in.
Send the questions in. Like, subscribe, follow. I don't know, all those things.
All the normal rhetoric of everybody else that is practicing social media. Like, subscribe, follow. But also just fucking enjoy the shit and send us in your questions, because we want to make sure that you're having fun watching us be absolute fucking dipshits on the show. And with that,
that's actually what's happening.
Drunken dipshits.
Drunken dipshits. That's what we're doing.
With that, we will say good night, and we love you.
Farewell. Until next week.
I would like to know that Baby Ninja doesn't know if we're done with live stream or not.
No.
That's the whole thing.
I'm just looking at my cold nachos at this point with longing. No, I'm still on camera. I don't eat pretty. I care if I eat pretty. Thank you very much. Did you kill the live stream yet?
Hey. He is the